Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. And today we're going to be reviewing a pretty well sought out product that a lot of people really like, but that kind of went under the radar when it came out, and people are just like slowly starting to buy it and realize it's actually out. And that is the Poliza by Adrian Vega, a really cool kind of magician's insurance type effect that I think will appeal to some, but has kind of some caveats for myself. But I do think it is an interesting product that will interest a lot of you, so that's why I'm making the review. Let's roll the intro and get straight in. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about the Poliza. So what is the Poliza? The Poliza is essentially a magician's insurance type trick where a trick goes horribly wrong and then you remove from your pocket an insurance policy, you read it out, and at the end, the signed card of the spectator is inside of the insurance policy. That's essentially what the effect is in its simplest form. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a small performance. I won't do the entire thing with missing the trick numerous times. We're just going to do a very direct one just so you understand. And yeah, let's roll the footage. Okay, so this is going to be a really quick performance of the Poliza. So first you're going to have a spectator. They can shuffle, they can take a deck of cards, shuffle it. This could even be a borrowed deck. Okay, they're going to choose any card that they want. Let's say this one. They're going to sign it, so they're going to put their signature. For the purpose of this, I won't sign it, but of course it can be a signed card, right? They're going to place it back, you shuffle it, and now you tell them that you're going to find it at their number. So after this shuffle, you're going to do one shuffle, and you're going to place their card at the exact number. Let's say, for the purpose of this, not to make it too long, let's say they say 5. So you say, perfect. So if I just shuffle like this, and with one cut, your card should be number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's 5. You agree? That's completely fair. I really hope this works. Normally, you would instruct your spectator to take the card, right? So they would look at it, and of course, it would not be their card because it's not signed. So then you tell them, okay, let's try something different. Let's take the card, place it back. Let's try this. We're going to try and make the card disappear and vanish inside of my pocket. So now if I go inside of my pocket, you then proceed to go inside of your pocket. You would remove one card, and it would be the Joker. Okay. Clearly this isn't going well at all. So you know what? I think let's try something. So you would go in your back pocket or in your case and whatever, and you would bring out an insurance policy. So then you remove here the elastic, and you can show on both sides, right? You show the policy and you say, when a trick goes wrong, I have this, I paid it, it's a one-time use, but you guys are such a great crowd, I want to make this up. So first we're going to read the terms and conditions. So the first one is here: this document is valid only if the trick was ruined by the magician owning this policy, which is true. Then you proceed to read all of the instructions. Okay, for the sake of time, we're not going to do that, but there's some jokes in there, right? There's a bunch of jokes. For example, here as well, there's a joke that plays into it. We're going to discuss all of these later, but then you would reveal here that finding a signed card in a deck of cards that has been fully shuffled is impossible. Only a real magician could do that. And you tell them, well, I guess this is kind of throwing shade at me because it's saying I'm not a real magician. You can play into the jokes. Then it says, snap your fingers and open the envelope. You snap your fingers, you open the envelope just like this, and you remove from inside of the envelope their signed card. So that is essentially a performance of the Poliza. So now that you've seen that, let's go back into the review. Okay, so now you've seen a performance of the Poliza, which means we can talk more about it. So first of all, where do you buy that? How much does it cost, and what do you get? So you can buy this pretty much anywhere. It's available at all the big magic shops, such as, for example, Vanishing Ink, ALAKAZAM, etc. You can get a discount code for ALAKAZAM in the description if you so wish. But I got mine at my local magic shop, so it means that you can probably check at yours too, and you can find it. So the Poliza will set you back $29.99 USD. which is around 35-40 Canadian. And what you get is this. So you get this envelope. When you open up this envelope, inside you get your insurance policy that you saw during the performance, and you also get your instructional video. The instructional video is close to 50 minutes long with Adrian Vega. There's live performances in it, there's the tutorial, there's the trailer in it, there's everything that you need to know. It goes over easy handlings, intermediate handlings, advanced handlings, how to handle the gimmick, how to play with it, how you can use it in different scenarios, how you can make it play in different routines and at different points in your show. So he covers everything in great detail. As you would expect, every single product that I own of Adrian Vega, the tutorial is very good and he covers all bases rather effectively. And this one is no different. And of course, as I mentioned, you get your insurance policy as well with that in it. So the insurance policy is the one that you saw. It's really well made. I can't really show it right now because I already reset it. So in the way that I perform it, you can't really show it when it's reset. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, it's made out of like a paper, but like really thick, kind of glossy paper. So it should last a long time if you take care of it. I don't like, if you actively try to rip it and damage it or just throw it inside of your pocket, it's probably going to damage. But if you take care of it, it's going to last you an extremely long time. It's really well made. So that's essentially what you get with your purchase. So having said that, let's talk about difficulty. So what is the difficulty of the Poliza? Well, the difficulty of the Poliza depends really on what version you do. So he gives you a ton of them from incredibly easy to a bit more hard. So for example, if you want to do the version that I did with the Pocket, that one is a bit more difficult than the one he does in Parlor. The one he does in Parlor is literally the most beginner-friendly thing, and it plays so well. So what he does is he does the same thing I did, loses the card, shuffles them, tries to find it in interesting ways, and it just doesn't work. And then he says, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have started the show with a card trick. Let's remove the cards, place them inside the box. He throws the card inside of his carrying case and removes some coins. So then he does maybe a coin trick, and he says, see, now this works much better. Thank you, the trick works. But he says, like, thank you so much, like during the applause, but you know, I'm still really stuck on the fact that that first trick didn't work, and I'm really upset by it. And normally I don't really use this, but sometimes it's a one-time purchase. I have an insurance policy, and then you remove the insurance policy, and then you reveal it, right? So he does it with a delay. And that one is super, super easy because all of the dirty work is not even dirty. It's literally, it technically even doesn't even happen or occur in the eyes of the spectator, which is great. So that version is easy. He teaches you a version that you can do where you remove the insurance policy, you place it on the deck, etc. Of course, I think for most of you kind of know that there's a specific move that happens, that maybe you're gonna hold your hand like this, or maybe like this, or maybe like this, right? Or maybe by your side. There's that move in it. The version that I like and the version that I perform this with is going to be using that move. So even though it's a bit more difficult, I just prefer to do it that way. I think it's more clean. So regarding that, there is a difficulty set for everyone here. You can pick and choose whatever you want. In terms of practicality, as always, carrying capacity, you just have to carry around your insurance policy, which is like this. It's not very big. It can fit into your back pocket or into your inner jacket pocket. It's going to fit super, super well there. So regarding carrying capacity, just have that on you and a deck. So you just need a deck and a pen to sign it. So you probably already have a deck with you and a Sharpie as well. So those are pretty much already a given. And for the insurance policy, it's really small. You can just place it and go do it. So there's nothing much to carry around. In terms of inspectability, there's not really anything to inspect. I mean, the cards could even be borrowed. The Sharpie's normal. The card that you reveal is normal. The insurance policy, you can show it from the moment you pull it out of your pocket. Depending the routine that you do, you can show it 360 degrees. You can even have, if you want, the spectator open it up and you instruct them. Can you read the first instruction? You can do that if you wish. It's fully inspectable. So there's not really anything that needs to be inspected here or that would require inspection. So you're good there. In terms of angles, again, that depends on the routine that you choose. Some of them you can't really have anyone behind you. Some of them you can't, have anyone close to your case. Some of them you'll have to be careful for them not to be at like an extreme to the side. So it really depends on what you're doing. Others, for example, if you want to do it from inside of your jacket pocket, then you could do it 360, pretty much as you take from your jacket pocket and you open it up and you remove the insurance policy is 360. So the angles, it's pretty much from 180 to 360, depending on the version that you do. You can get away with it. Again, depends on the version. In terms of needing specific things, you don't even need a table for this. So you don't need a table, you don't need anything. As long as you have your insurance policy, you're good to go. The reset as well, again, I'm going to repeat myself, but depending on the way you choose to perform it, it either takes maybe 5 seconds or it's either instant. You just have to rewrap it with the elastic. So again, depends on the version that you do. The reset changes depending on that, but it's basically from instant to 5 seconds, okay? So that's pretty much all I have to say regarding practicality. And I want to add one thing here, which is kind of just for me, but as I mentioned in some tricks, I'm not really someone that does comedy in his magic. So to me, some of the jokes, like I don't feel comfortable doing really this because of the jokes. Like they're really like type of like classic magician's jokes. Like for example, it says, what was the card that got lost? And you ask someone, what was it? The 5 of hearts. And then it says like a quip like, oh, unfortunately, every single card in this deck is insured except for that one, right? Like it can get a laugh, but it's just not in my personality. And there's a bunch of those jokes scattered in between, which don't really fit me, but you could maybe skip them because they're written a bit smaller and in a different font. So if you do this, you know, kind of for a bigger public, you could maybe, because they won't be able to fully read it, so you could maybe say like, oh, you know what, here it says that this may not work because of the situation that we're in, but you know what, I believe it will, so let's continue on, right? You can maybe downplay. That's how I do it. Like when there's jokes, I kind of, you know, play around them because they don't really work for me. But if you're a comedy magician and you're looking to add some comedy, this is going to work well for you because the jokes are built in. But I would have maybe preferred for the jokes to be removed and for you to add them if you want, because here you're kind of, there's 2 places where kind of you can't get away from the jokes that are in it. So it's a bit unfortunate. So I would have maybe preferred for it to be with no jokes, just like a serious thing, and you add the jokes if you want. But that's not the case. It is kind of an issue for me because I don't really do comedy. Like when I do things like I do like the Luc Germain like tarot deck, I do his tossed out deck where it's like really serious, where like having 2 people here, people in the audience, you know, I do like billet readings and stuff like that. So I don't really do a lot of comedy. Even in my card magic, I usually do like more serious stuff. And even if I do something funny, it's just because it arises in the discussion and the performance. Like someone says something and I build on it and build a rapport with the spectator. But in my own scripts and in my own kind of way that I perform, I don't include jokes. So to me, this hurts me a bit. And maybe if you're like me, that could play a big deciding factor if you buy this. But for some, it won't be an issue at all. Nonetheless, let's talk about where to perform. So where do you perform this? This can literally be performed anywhere. You can do this close up from table to table to table. You can do this stage, parlor, Zoom, wherever. I won't really talk more about this because this can be done anywhere. As long as you have the insurance policy and a deck of cards and a Sharpie, you can perform this effect. So having said that, what are the positives and negatives of the Poliza? What are the positives and negatives? So one of the negatives is that once you get this, it's going to be very stiff, which means that you're going to have to work it a lot, not in terms of practicing it, but in terms of doing what you have to do. Since the paper is so new and it's like still stiff, I think you understand what I mean. It's sometimes when you do the move, it may get stuck and it may not work because it's so brand new. So that is a bit of a let off, which means that at the start, I can't really do, for example, his variation of the stage one because I wouldn't feel confident that it works. So I would still have to do the one, like the version of the pocket, but for stage, right? So I think that that is something that's a bit annoying. Maybe it's just mine, but mine was like really brand new, so it's still to this point a bit stiff, but it's gotten better since I purchased it. So that's one thing you need to know. Don't get discouraged by that. And the other one is that the jokes are forced into the insurance policy, which I would have preferred they weren't, but that's again just a me thing. But I would have just liked it to be like a more direct one with jokes optional for you to add. But apart from that, in terms of positive, the instructional video is great. It has, you can pretty much perform this anywhere. The insurance policy is really well made. The effect is pretty impressive and really cool. It's easy, it's accessible for all levels. It's practical as well. As I mentioned, you can adapt it to your performing environment. It is a very good trick. So having said all of this, would I recommend it, and what would I rate it out of 10? So would I recommend the Poliza? I say yes. I think if you want an effect such as this, I don't think there's a better one on the market, even with the downside of the jokes, which to me are really kind of a detriment to this. I think that there's not a better version of this that I've seen. It's really well made, especially for the price, especially often it's on sale. You can also get it on sale. So I think that, yes, it is good, and I do recommend it if you liked what you saw. Personally, for me, what would I give it out of 10? I would give it a 7.75, purely just because of the comedy, because I have to think of ways to get out of it, and some of them are so forced you literally cannot get out of it. So it does hurt in terms of my personal ranking of it, but that's what I have to say about it. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any additional questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you all in my next review. Have a good one.